Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of the Cartridge and Disc Podcast. This is your Gen X Gamer here. And guys, I feel like the Emperor. Everything is proceeding as I had foreseen. Paraphrasing. But he said something like that. So, for those of you who are new, I had been working on a hypothesis that Tommy was pushed out way back at the end of November 2021, right? When he officially left. And at that point, the board, the controlling members, the two gentlemen that have $300 million basically said, look, we can't play this game anymore. You're not going to flip the company. We gave you the budget you asked for. You failed to do it. And now it's time to cash in the chips. And if you want to do this, if anybody wants to do this, it's not going to be with our money anymore, right? Our investment generated $17 million, and you have wasted a quarter of it, and no, we're going to pay ourselves back. We're going to take profits, and that's that. Remember, guys, it's not investing if you lose money, right? When you invest in a company, and you do it for one reason, you do it to make money. And if you have a CEO, if you have a director of the company that is willing to spend the company's last cent in order for a fictitious investor to come in and buy the whole thing, you're not going to do well, right? You need to take your profits while they're out there. Remember, you have to take profits where you invest, or else it's not called investing. So the board just did what they do. I mean, these gentlemen here, they're not worth $300 million because they lose money. And they called Tommy on it, right? They margin called Tommy, if you will. And he had no choice, right? Once he didn't control the board, he couldn't control the reins of the company. He really couldn't do anything. And Phil Adam was brought in. Again, this is all conjecture, hypothesis, based on the documentation I've seen, right? He's brought in to implement the vision of the board, not of Tommy Tallarico. Tommy Tallarico was fun, great, entertaining. We wish he was still around. But the one thing he is not is profitable, right? He's entertaining, but not profitable for this company. And at that point, he was pushed out. They cashed in their chips. They took the money, basically, and that was the end of that. And let me tell you, I think it was a forced takeover. Why do I think that? Because Tommy was humiliated and nobody came to his aid. What do I mean? He guaranteed that loan, right? And I keep harping on this. He guaranteed that loan. Nobody came to his aid. You didn't hear Phil Adam mention it. You didn't hear John Alvarado mention it. You didn't hear Nick Richards mention it. All people that he made money for. He made money for all those guys. And now they're behind the board because the board is paying the checks. Tommy's all alone, humiliated, because if Tommy could have helped it at all, he would have paid these bills. Absolutely. He would have paid these bills. Because he didn't want, Pat and Ian and us and the rest of the distractors talking about how he couldn't pay this ridiculous bill that he had made for himself and which he guaranteed. He didn't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to ruin their credit that way or be humiliated publicly. And remember, that's on top of the H-Bomber guy stuff. Again, the only people that defended Tommy at all were in Amico Forever. But not the guys with the money, not the guys that he actually made money for. The people that he actually, whose channel he affected the most, right? Those people were defending him, but not the people that were his associates. And now here it is, right? I told you this had happened back then. Now it's just official. But he was just a director in name only, right? He was the, chief creative officer in name only. He didn't create anything, anything that we can see of worth. So it was just all smoke and mirrors. I believed he was pushed out forcefully, right? And now he has no role, absolutely no role in this company whatsoever, other than he owns, 28% of the Intellivision brand. That's about his involvement in the company. He has no say. He gets a check, and that's it. Now, is it still a scam? Absolutely, but not the way most people think. I was listening to Smash's JT video, right? And I just have a different point of view, right? Based on documentation and what I see. I don't know the man. He knows these people personally. I don't. So, and my point of view is just based on documents, right? Whether these people are nice or not, it really doesn't matter to me. Like, he swears up and down that John Alvarado's the nicest guy ever, but it really doesn't matter if he couldn't deliver the product, right? And the units never got approved by the FCC. What does it matter if he's nice or not if he can't crack the job, right? So I'd like to be more objective. I think if I was friends with anybody, that would, it's just normal. That would change your point of view, especially if somebody's really nice to you. But in this case, I still stick with this. Now, is this the truth? No, this is just my opinion. Just my opinion. I am not an expert. I'm not a reporter. I'm not what do they call it, journalist or a financial expert or anything like that, right? For any of those things, you guys look for that stuff. This is just my layman's opinion based on my experience of following this story for since 2019. They registered in 2018, but I think 2019 is really when we got going with this, 2020. And here we are, no longer the director, no longer the chief creative officer. This is a real rift in the company, which we're not going to know, guys. We're not going to know any of this until we see court documents, until we see how that lawsuit is settled with the furniture, until we finally see a bankruptcy of one of the LLCs. That's when we'll really get answers. Right now, it's a bunch of hypotheses. But for the investors, for any investor, whether it's Smash JT or anybody else, it's still a scam. They got scammed out of their money. Whether they intended for it to be a scam from the beginning or it became a scam in the middle, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, these people don't have their money. And guess who does? Tommy Tallarico and the board. All right, humans. I'm glad I got to say hi to you here on a Sunday, waiting for Hillary to hit. Of all places that I have to be tonight, I have to be in an airport. Jesus. I'm telling you guys, this week has been a doozy. I hope next week will be better. Right now, we're just going to hunker down, try to weather the storm until I have to drive out there. I'll be out there probably right when the storm hits here in Southern California. So wish me luck. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.